Hello, my name is Wayne Ergel. I'm making this video because I have learned in the last day or two that when you make a copy of an Airtable base, it does not copy the automations. And when I say automations here, I mean the ones that are native to Airtable. In my workflows for keyword research, categorization and clustering, and the Smart AI blog writer, there are automations inside of Airtable that do things like change status fields and trigger N8N, and none of those are working because they're not copied when you copy the base. So I'm going to go through how to set that stuff up. So let's start with AI SEO keyword research. Here, this would be the workflow that you've downloaded and purchased on Gumroad. You click on keyword research, content ideation. That opens up this base, and you want to say copy base, not whatever. Don't try to use it, because that'll send a request to me that you want access, and I would have to pay for you in my account, and I found out the hard way that adds up quickly. So you just say copy base. You say which workspace, which for me is just the one that I have. I'm going to say add base. And I'll warn you right now, for reasons, again, I don't know what's up with these guys. It gives it the same name as the one you copied. So now you have two copies in your workspace. I guess in general you would be copying it from mine to yours, so it wouldn't look that way to you. But anyway, I'm gonna change the name here so I'll know which one I'm even talking about. So when I say automations, you can see here automations list is empty. When I look at the version of this on my workspace, the original one that I copied from, you'll see these automations. The first one is start keyword research, and that's what I'm going to talk about first. So if we go back to the copy, we look at the data. In the primary keywords field, let's just put a keyword in here. I'm going to use my sort of favorite one, AI agent. And what would trigger the workflow to start in N8N, so it triggers the webhook, is you would change this status to get keyword research. Problem is, again, automations aren't there, so it doesn't trigger anything. So we're going to add them, so I'm going to show you how to. So we're going to add them now. So on the first one, the first thing we want to do, and I'm just going to cheat here because I don't remember how to do this right off the top of my head for every single one of these. We're going to look for when a record matches a condition. We're going to run a script. So we're going to say when a record matches a condition, get that out of there. You select which table you want to target. This is the primary keywords table, and so we've got that. We know the table. We want to add the condition that when the trigger contains an option which is get keyword research, that it does something, and that something is runs a script that triggers the workflow in N8N. Okay, so here's where that comes from. We're going to add a script. I have put the script in Airtable, or in the N8N description. I'm going to blow it up so you can see it a little bit better. All you're going to do is copy it if you can. I guess you have to double click on it. Copy from here to here. Go back into Airtable and edit code on your script. Nope, that's the wrong Airtable. This is the right Airtable. This is the copy. Paste that in, and that's part of what you have to do. The second part is create variables. So let me show you that. Edit code. We're going to create a variable called record ID. That's going to be the Airtable record ID, and another one called N8N webhook URL. So let's go do that. Hopefully I can remember it. Add. Yeah. So this is record ID. Boom, boom. You're going to get the value here. It's the Airtable record ID. We're going to add, I'm going to make sure I call it the same thing. N8N webhook URL. I can just copy it, paste it in. Okay, and you can see those are referenced here in the code. So somewhere here is record ID, and this is the webhook URL. So second, or another very important step, is to put the URL here. So in the workflow, break it back down a little bit, we have this very first node that is the Airtable webhook. So you just double click on that. It's set for testing right now. You could set it for production if you took this live. I'm just going to use this now. So I just copy that. I go back to Airtable, paste it in. Okay, and then we're going to test it. Hopefully it'll run. No triggers. You have to set, you know what? No. We're going to turn that on. Now we're going to go back to our automation, and we're going to test it. A lot of clicking to do here. And it's successful. So what that means is it was able to trigger or reach out to the N8N workflow and connect to it. So now what we would have is, if we had everything else set up correctly, when we change from waiting to get keyword research, because of that automation that we just added here, let's even give it a better name. How do I name it? Just like that. Let's say get keyword research. Keyword research. It would run. Okay, so that's how you set up that automation. And again, what it's doing is coming from this primary keywords table. You set it to that. So if you set the status change, if you change the status to get keyword research, that triggers this webhook and would start the automation. So I'll go ahead and show you one other thing that just to make sure it's clear. You want to set the Airtable fields, and the way you do that is you set the Airtable base ID. So in this case, all you have to do is go to the URL, and this first little bit, app, in letters and numbers, so from this / to this one, is the Airtable base. Okay, so you go back to, you copy it, you go back to N8N and paste it in, and so now it knows which base you're talking about. So let's see if this works. We'll just trigger that part. Waiting for a trigger, so it's actually waiting for a trigger. I'm going to trigger it now, and it ran. Yay! Sorry. So it ran. It gave us the base. This whole thing's all big. Why is it? I want it to be there. So it ran. It got us the Airtable base and the record ID. Two important things. So now you would be getting the primary keyword, which is, as I entered there, AI agent, and then it would run through the workflow. I don't I'm not going to run through the whole workflow because it would take some good bit of time to set it all of the stuff up correctly. But I will say this: so you've got the Airtable webhook working now. You've got the field set. You would get the primary keyword, and then the next part of this is to set up the data for SEO part, and that I've covered in another video, and we'll do another one in the future. But you have to create your data for SEO credential, and you would enter it here. So you would have one named data for SEO, your initials, or however you name those things, and you would input the JSON to tell the data for SEO API what you want, and you would get the data back. The other area that you need to look at is to add to master keywords all of these nodes that are going to Airtable. Actually should be good because we used the Airtable base ID to identify them. So this would pull in what we set right here, which is all of that. So when it's writing to Airtable, it would know the right Airtable to write to. So again, set up that, and I hope this was clear. Set up your automation. First one is in the get keyword research. You're setting you're setting an automation that when this changes from get keyword or from waiting to get keyword research, this automation runs. What it's doing is it's sitting here, it's waiting for, in this table, in the primary keywords table, it's waiting for the trigger to be get keyword research. When it is, it goes to the next step, which is to run this script, and that script triggers the N8N webhook. So that's the first part of setting up Airtable and N8N to have, well, that would set up the keyword research workflow to work. Now what we're going to look at is how to set up the content ideas from keywords and content ideas from clusters to trigger N8N as well. Okay, so I did go ahead and actually run this workflow. So I, as I've said, went into primary keywords. The status it started at waiting. I set it to keyword research. It ran the workflow, and then the last step in the workflow right here changes the status to complete so that we know it ran. Now what I'm going to do is run through this second workflow, which is the categorization and clustering workflow. There's no actual trigger. I have not set up a trigger here to or a webhook to be triggered by Airtable. So just to be clear, I have not set up a Airtable trigger to trigger this workflow. I have in other versions of this, but not in the one that I've published, and it's not too terribly hard. What I did is I have more statuses, so I have keyword research complete, and then I would have a status like get content ideas or something like that. I forgot what I used. And then that could be used as a webhook. But in the workflow that comes out of Gumroad right now, there is no trigger from Airtable. There is one here in the workflow, and that is manual. And what you need to do, I guess this is worth mentioning again, is to set all the Airtable fields correctly. And I took this idea of setting the Airtable IDs and fields further in this workflow, and I set fields or set IDs for the base table ID, the categories table ID, the ideas from keywords table ID, the clusters table ID, the content ideas from clusters table ID, and the master all keyword variations ID. And that might seem like a lot of stuff to do, but what it does is it's a sort of better design strategy, and it makes these later nodes, it's easier to change. Like you can change the names of them in Airtable, but the IDs stay the same, so it doesn't impact your workflow. So I am going to go ahead and show you all of that. So we're going to be clicking on set Airtable fields. Airtable base, we've already seen how to do that, so I'm going to be flipping back and forth a bunch here. We get that here in the URL. It starts with app. Go back over here to the workflow, paste that in. And what you could do is create a form in front of this so that you're not having to copy and paste it all here, or some other sort of form. But again, this is what's available in Gumroad right now. So we're looking for the categories table ID, and the way we're going to do that, we're going to click on keyword categories. The table ID is the second set of numbers and letters. So the first part is this part here is the base ID. This is the table ID. It even begins with table, so that's a clue there. Categories table ID. Paste it in. Make sure I'm doing it from the right one. Then what was the next one? Sorry, the next one is content ideas from keyword table ID. Content ideas from keyword table ID. That is this one. Copy it. Go into the workflow and paste it. It's the same. That's interesting. I thought it was on the second time I did it. So that would tell me, sort of strangely, that when you make a copy of Airtable base, you take the base, make a copy, the table IDs appear to have stayed the same. I know the base ID was different, but the table IDs are staying the same. And that seems strange to me, but let's see. I believe that is the way it's going to work. I forgot already. We're going to look for clusters table ID. That is here, clusters. There's our table ID. Copy it. Go back. Paste it. It's the same. I already knew. And I'm going to take a chance and believe that these are all the same as well. Let's see, let's just check. AFU on master keywords. AFU. Yep, same. Okay, so that's strange. Alright, so what I'm going to do is run this workflow. I'm going to turn the video off because it takes 3 or 4 minutes to run. And then I'll kind of come back and show you how to add the automation that takes the next step and puts an article that you want to write into the article writer table. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so that ran. Now I'm going to show you how in Airtable to create the trigger to take an article from the ideas table, so content ideas from keywords, content ideas from clusters, how to create the automation, shouldn't have said trigger, the automation inside Airtable that moves it to this article writer table. And just quickly, I did this. It might seem like an extra step. Why didn't I just write it from here, send it to the auto writer from here? And it's because I just believe there are that you're going to get results you don't want to write, and I felt like it'd be better to have a conscious step to change from not started to send to article writer, so that you're making that step. Now you could change that if you want to, obviously, but that's the way I did it. So what we're going to look at is the first one. How do you get this automation to work? Send to AutoWriter doesn't work right now. AutoWriter should be empty. It is. So we're going to go to automations. We have the one that we just did. We're going to create a new one. Let's say keyword send keyword idea to article writer. Okay, there's that. So the first thing is we're again going to do when a record matches a condition. We're going to select the table, which in this case is content ideas from keywords. We're going to add this condition that when the status is send to article writer, we're going to create a record in the auto writer, and this actually takes a minute. So we're going to create a record, and this is what you're doing throughout this stuff. You tell it what you want to do, you select the table you want to do it on. We're going to do the article writer table. So we want to create a new record with the data that we need in the article writer table. So we're going to choose fields to go with it. We want the title. The title is going to come from the title field in the ideas table. We want a status. The status is going to be not started. So when it gets into the article writer table, we're going to say it's not started because it hasn't started yet. We want to add the description, and that is going to come from the ideas table. And see, I'm just clicking on this stuff. I want to add, trying to remember everything, keyword, and that's coming again from the ideas table. We're going to add primary keyword. Primary keyword, I just saw it, there it is. That would be coming from here as well. We're going to add the category or cluster name, which is also coming from the tables, and I have category in the categories table. It'll say cluster name in the other table for clusters. Okay, so I believe that does it all. And then I did one other thing, and that is update the record. So now I want to update a record. So again, where do you want to update it? We're going to update it in the table. We're going to update it in the ideas table to take it from the status of send to article writer to sent to it, or whatever the status is. I forgot, but we'll see in a moment. So that we know it's already been sent, so you wouldn't be sending it again. So we're going to use the record ID. We're going to choose the field, and it would be the status. And the status we're going to change to is in article writer. Okay, that's what I couldn't remember. So this should all work, and we're going to go see if it does. It's on. We're in the content ideas from keywords. Again, there are no there's nothing here in article writer, and we're going to say that I want to write this one. So we're going to say send to article writer, and that should send it to article writer. You'll see it change the status to in article writer, and there it is. Okay, so that's that one. Content ideas from clusters is the same thing. We're going to have an automation that would send the data from this table over to article writer. So we would just send the data again from here. We'd change the status to send to article writer, that would send it to article writer, and it would be there for us to write. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. I think you probably would be able to do it now, but I'll do it as well. So automation is send keyword, send cluster idea, cluster idea to article writer. It's going to have the same stuff. We're going to do when a record matches a condition. We're going to select the table, so it's the content ideas from clusters table. We're going to add a condition, and that is when the status contains send to article writer. What do you want it to do? And that is create a record. We want it to create a record in the article writer table. So we're going to select the table. It's article writer. I'm going to choose all the fields. I'm not going to go through all of this. It's the same basic thing. We're going article writer, title. You get the title field from the table, from the ideas table. You know, this stuff matches up. You'll see title, cluster name. Let's see. Choose field. Sorry, I did that wrong. Cluster name. You would use the cluster name here in this case. So you would just go through those fields and add them one at a time to this automation. And actually, I'm halfway through it, so let's go ahead and do it. Category or cluster name. We've got description. We want to get the same description from there, from the ideas table. Status. We want to set to not started. I explained why a moment ago. We want keyword. Keyword. We want primary keyword. Okay, and that comes from primary keyword, which was at the bottom. Okay. Type of article, content. Okay, so it's close enough. Hopefully you get the gist of how to do that. You do want to add that last step of, you know, it's up to you, I guess, updating the record. So we want to update our content ideas from clusters table to, and we have to get the record ID so it knows which one to use or to do. We want to change the status to in article writer. Okay, so that's the way that one works. I'll go ahead and see. I may have messed up something. Did it so fast, but we'll find out here. So this is for content ideas from clusters. Let's change that to send to article writer. It's in article writer now. So now if we go look at article writer, we do have that. Okay, so it worked pretty much. This is I missed that field, so you know, you guys can go and figure that out. But yeah, for some reason I must not have entered that correctly, but you would need the cluster name there. So yeah, it does work pretty much, except for that. It's grouped now by cluster or category name. I'm going to ungroup it and go on to the next part. This type of article. I missed that field too, sorry. So when you're creating the automation, as we just did a moment ago, you could select the type of article. This one is I believe it's a cluster. It may have been a hub or spoke, I don't remember. So you can do that as well. It's not absolutely necessary. It's just more for you being able to see it. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now I'm going to go into the third workflow, which is the Smart AI blog writer itself. This is the one where we are going to write the article, and the way we do that is we have to create the script similar to what we did with the first one. So this is the trigger script. to trigger the N8N workflow. Okay, so what we're going to do is go back here to our automations. We're going to add a fourth one, sorry. We're going to say write article. This one as well. Let's check it. Forgot. Move cluster, write draft. That's what I call it here. So we're going to do when a record matches a condition. So when a record matches a condition, the table we want to do it from is the article writer. When the condition is, it's not title, it is status, right? So when the status is write article, we want to trigger this script. The script is also in the script is in the workflow. Let me bang this up a bit. You have to here we go. So you have to copy and paste it from here. So you're going to do that from there. Okay. Looks like you might be missing something. So you copy it, go into your table or into the automation and paste it in. Similarly to the trigger on the first workflow, getting the keyword research using the primary keyword table, you need a record ID. You need the value to be the record ID. You need the, I hope I do this right, N8N. It's right here. Yeah, so it's, I was trying to remember what my variable is. It's N8N webhook URL, N8N webhook URL. You get the value from the workflow itself, and that is here in this webhook. Copy that, just click on it, come back into here and paste it. Okay, so that should take care of that. Finish editing. We're going to turn it on. Okay, so let's go ahead and test that, make sure it works. I'm in the article writer. I need to say click test workflow, come back here to my table. It already says that, so I got to go back to here. I'm going to change it to write article, and hopefully that triggers the workflow. Yes, there it goes. It broke already because I did not change the Airtable base, and apologies for that. So it broke, and that's because I have not updated the information in the Airtable base. And what I have in here, and this is the workflow that you would get if you downloaded it, and again, apologies for this. It's sort of been a much different process than I thought it was going to be when I started this stuff. I have not updated the content writer workflow to use IDs, so the table IDs. So in the Airtable nodes here in the article writer, you'll need to go and select your Airtable base. So in my case, it's this one. You would need to change it, of course, to whatever you've named yours, and you'd need to do that throughout. And this is the reason that it's better to use this set node in the front, where it's setting the node or setting the Airtable fields. You would set the article writer ID, and for the most part that would be all you would need to set. That would be it. So you know, I would suggest you do that, or you could do it sort of the manual way, and that would be to go into every Airtable node and change it to the correct Airtable. and it should work at that point. So that is how you do all of these automations. Again, I had no idea that Airtable does not copy them. I mean, in my mind, if you copy and paste something, that it copies everything. Why they didn't do that, I don't know. I do know that if you duplicate a base so you're duplicating within your own account, it does copy the automations. They're just turned off, which is the way I think it should be, but it's not. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't, you can reach out to me and let me know if you have any other questions. But that should get you close, if not all the way, on creating all the Airtable automations and triggers that you need to make those three workflows work. So thanks for watching. I have some more videos planned, and hopefully more general interest than this one. But I've had enough questions. I wanted to get this out there. So again, thank you. Reach out if you have any questions. Bye bye.